It's 8 o'clock, good evening, and welcome to LJ News. Ben Robert Smith, VC, Australia's most decorated living soldier, has lost a defamation case in which he was accused of multiple murders of unarmed civilians in Afghanistan, a federal court judge has found. Justice Anthony Besanko found that, on the balance of probabilities, Robert Smith kicked a handcuffed prisoner off a cliff in Darwin in 2012, before ordering a subordinate Australian soldier to shoot the injured man dead. And in 2009, Robert Smith ordered the execution of an elderly man found hiding in the tunnel in a bombed-out compound, as well as murdering a disabled man with prosthetic leg during the same mission using a power machine gun. The judgment is not a criminal finding of guilt, but a determination on the civil standard of the balance of probabilities. A summary judgment has been published by the federal court. The full reasons will be published on Monday afternoon, after the Commonwealth has checked the judgment for national security concerns. Robert Smith has been awarded no damages in the judgment. Lawyers for the newspapers have sought several weeks for application around costs of the trial. The civil judgment is likely to cost Robert Smith millions of dollars in costs to be awarded to the newspapers. The cost of the trial is estimated to be upwards of $35 million. The former SAS corporal had taken out a loan, believed to be $2 million, from his employer, Channel 7 owner Gary Stokes, to fund his defamation case. He appears now almost certain to lose his Victoria Cross medal as surrendered collateral. Robert Smith, a former SAS corporal, is Australia's most decorated living soldier and recipient of the Victoria Cross for most conspicuous gallantry during the Battle of Tizak in 2010. He had enjoyed a stellar public reputation, lionized as the exemplar of Australia's ultimately unsuccessful mission to bring peace and prosperity to Afghanistan, held up as the modern embodiment of Australia's the Anzac legend. The most famous soldier of his generation, Robert Smith was also named Father of the Year and served as chair of the government's Australia Day Council. But in 2018, The Age, the Sydney Morning Herald, and the Canberra Times published a series of articles that alleged he engaged in war crimes, including murdering civilians and ordering subordinate soldiers under his command to execute civilians in so-called blooding incidents. Robert Smith sued the newspapers, telling the court their stories portrayed him as a criminal who broke the moral and legal rules of military engagement and disgraced his country and its army. The newspapers defended their reporting as true. The trial heard more than 100 days of evidence over more than a year, including the extraordinary evidence of executions performed by Australian soldiers and of a spiteful, factionalized SAS regiment, deeply riven by internecine fighting over decorations and medals and enthrall on some evidence to a warrior culture steeped in violence.